I think so, yes. Well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I'm certainly pleased to join you for this May 19th, 2021 Alabama Community College System Board of Trustees meeting. We are honored that the Alabama Supreme Court Justice Jay Mitchell has joined us.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Valerie Gray,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
and the Constitution of the State of Alabama,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
so long as I am
and that I will faithfully and honestly
and that I will faithfully and honestly
discharge the duties of the office
and Mr. Llewellyn Roan. Regular meeting of the Alabama College Community System Board of Trustees is now called to order. We certainly welcome all who are in attendance today, and we appreciate you.
Okay, any opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is item 9, executive, legal, and public information. Item 9A1, Bishop State Community College, approval of the naming of the nursing simulation suite in the Center for Health Sciences.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to say that this and the following name occurred through a fundraising effort, and the city council made a contribution and asked for a name, and the county commission of Mobile County did the same. So that's the basis for these recommendations.
Thank you. Is there a motion? Motion by Mr. Shell,
Second.
second by Mr. McAnally. All in favor, show of hands. Any opposed? All right, next is the item 9A2, Bishop State Community College, approval of naming of the Advanced Manufacturing Center Lecture Hall. Some of this is with the commission as well, the naming and the donation. All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Rogers, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Rome. Any discussion? All those in favor, show of hands. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is item 9A3, Northwest Shoals Community College, bookstore operation agreement through Barnes and Noble College Booksellers. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Woods,
Second.
second by Mr. McAnally. Any discussions?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to say, I've said this before, I appreciate the diligence on our presidents to seek out opportunities and alternative ways to provide services that are more profitable for the college. And I think this is another fine example of that. So I'm just thankful for Northwest Shoals and President Collegros for their efforts here.
That's right. Thank you. All those in favor? Motion, by show of hands. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is item 10, personnel.
I would just like to report, Mr. Chairman, that Kimba Chambers has been reassigned. And you know, Kimba was in this department. Kimba has served at several of our colleges as interim and as also deans of instruction and so forth. She was in our office here. She has now accepted the role as been appointed to the interim president's position at Trenton College here in town. She's got a lot of work to do. She's up to it, and she will provide great leadership. So, Kimba Chambers.
It's fantastic. Okay, congratulate Ms. Chambers. Dr. Chambers. Okay, next item is committee reports. And I just wanted to announce the formulation of our new committees. As you know, we have a finance and audit committee, a policy committee, facilities committee, and personnel committee. On the finance and audit committee, we will have Mr. Blake McAnally, who will continue as chair. Mr. John Mitchell and Mr. Jeb Shell will join the finance and audit committee. On the policy committee, we'll have Mr. Matt Woods, who'll continue as chair, and Mrs. Valerie Gray and Mr. Dust Rogers will join them on the policy committee. A facilities committee, we actually have me as the only person that's remaining on that committee, and I will serve as chair, and Mr. Levlin Roan and Mr. Dust Rogers will join us on the facilities committee. And the last committee is personnel. I'll serve as chair for that one, and Mrs. Valerie Gray and Mr. Levlin Roan will join me on the personnel committee. And those are our committees as we move forward. Next item on the agenda is item 12, Chancellor's report.
I'd like to ask Boone if he would come and give us an update of the legislative session, which ended Monday night. I'm not sure exactly what time, but it was late.
Midnight.
Good morning, Chancellor. Chairman Davis has got a nice ring to it, and all the other board members. As the Chancellor mentioned, the legislative session ended this last Monday. at midnight. They took every minute possible that they could. The day was a very busy day for the community college system, much busier than I had originally anticipated. Many of you know the legislation that we've been working on this entire session, House Bill 220, which was the construction management legislation that this board prioritized prior to the legislative session in its legislative agenda. The legislature had passed that bill 2 weeks prior, but the governor had an executive amendment that she wanted to put on the bill. And so there was a lot of work from early that morning all the way till about 8 o'clock that night when it was finally passed to come up with a workable solution that all the parties could agree to. I'm very fortunate to announce we were able to get an agreement in place, and both the House and the Senate approved the bill. It's been sent over to the governor, and we've been assured that it will be signed in short order. Wanted to just take an opportunity to publicly thank a few people because a lot of work went into that legislation. First, thank the legislative sponsors, Representative Ledbetter and Senator Chastain. You know, they could have easily taken a deal that was not favorable to us, but they both stood strong for the community college system, even under intense opposition and pressure from several groups. And we ended up in as strong of a position in the final bill as anyone else. I also want to thank Governor Ivey and her staff for working to come up with a workable solution to the issue, and Lieutenant Governor Ainsworth and his staff, who also played a big role in coming to a resolution as well. And then last but certainly not least, huge thanks to all the trustees, all the college presidents and others who made calls, wrote emails, because we called on everyone, all hands on deck, and you responded, and it was noticed. And I've spoken with numerous legislators who told me, hey, we got the message, and they followed through. So again, it was a team effort, but I'm glad we got it done. The new law will take effect August 1st. So there's a lot of work to do to get us ready for that day. We also saw other legislative successes during the session. The fiscal year 21-22 education budget package included in significant investments into the community college system and our colleges. Overall increase for the system was 42 million, which was an almost 10% year over year increase. I've been here a while. That's the largest increase I can remember year over year. And the legislature included increased funding for the priorities that this board had set, which was operations and maintenance at our colleges, workforce development, dual enrollment, and prison education. As part of that package, the legislature also passed a 2% pay raise for educators, which included our community college employees who have worked diligently this past year during the pandemic. And we're pleased to be able to, for this 2% pay raise to be enacted so we can reward them for their hard work this last year. As I said, in my opinion, this may be one of the most successful legislative sessions that this system has had in many years. And it's been a privilege to work on behalf of our colleges and this board with the legislature, and we'll continue to advocate in future sessions as we move forward. Although this session is over, it's highly likely that there will be one, if not more, special sessions later this year. The legislature will have to redraw the congressional, state board, and legislative districts when the new census data comes out. And then also there's other issues that were unresolved from the session, such as gaming and prisons, that very well could wind up in a special session as well. We'll certainly continue to keep you guys updated as those things move forward. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Again, thank you to everyone for a successful session, and bright days are ahead.
Absolutely. Thank you for your support, and again, extend appreciation on behalf of the Board of Trustees as well for the support of the governor, the legislature, and all the presidents and everyone that worked so hard to get those bills passed and push our legislative agenda. Thank you. Yep.
And I would just say too, it's a very frenetic situation, and I know, and I would get emails from him at all times of the day, and I appreciate your diligence and hard work. It paid off.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. All right, next on the agenda is the date and location of our next meeting. We'll have a work session following this meeting. We actually have scheduled, and it's scheduled for 10:20, so we'll take a 10-minute break afterwards, after we adjourn this meeting. And our Board of Trustees meeting next month is June 9th, this building. And do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second. Adjourn. To regroup 10:23.
Except for the mic.
My, oh, well, my daughter. Yeah, yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah.
A lot of work goes into it before we get here.
To make it look easier. I was on the call. Yeah.
I tell you this.
Whoa, wow, that'd be great.
Hey, this is Mike Kennemer from Northeast.
Alice Raymond from Drake State.
Todd Shackett from Southern Union.
Roger Gordine from Wallace Selma.
Ken Thomas from Enterprise State.
Danny Long from Enterprise State.
Carolyn Henderson from Drake State.
That's not what happened this morning. That's 6 years. That's never.
No, I wish. Really like to visit.
Call these names first. They don't get
Test, test.
Yes, sir.
Doing well. How are you? Mike.
Stayed with us last night.
I was right behind you. I was on my phone.
Milton,
Yes, sir.
I told Blake,
Good to meet you.
I've got a work session Friday. I've had
Please, yes, sir.
At some point, it's not right now.
I don't think that's, okay. You're welcome. They do.
Yeah, so we need to include.
Okay.
Yeah.
There'll be a lot of pops.
I can't imagine. We charged.
Did you know?
Create work.
No, I did not. No. First time meeting, we had lunch.
No.
Yeah, I'm impressed with that. They make it easy. I don't even know. Work first.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone's ready? Ready? Ready. Good morning. I'd like to begin the work session for the Alabama Community College System. First next item on our agenda is Reed State Technical College. Mr. David O'Brien. Board.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the Board of Trustees. Before we get started with the agenda itself, I have a report that the agenda has been revised since it was sent to you last week. 2 items have been removed. Those 2 items are the system institution and system office salary schedules. They needed just a little more work on further review, and they will be brought forward for your review at some time in the future. The first item on the work session agenda is Reed State's request for approval of its mission statement. The mission statement in question is the college's current mission statement. It has been previously approved by the Board of Trustees and brought forward for your review and approval to satisfy the regulations or rules of its accrediting agency, which requires that the mission statement be reviewed periodically. Does anyone have any questions regarding Reed State's request for review and approval of its mission statement? We'll move to the next item, which is J.F. Ingram State Technical College's request for review and approval of its mission statement. Once again, this is the current mission statement of Ingram State. It has been previously approved by the Board of Trustees and is being brought forward for accrediting purposes for your review and approval. Are there any questions regarding Ingram State's request for review and approval of its mission statement? The next item is Wallace Dothan's request for review and approval of its mission statement. Again, this mission statement has been approved, previously approved by the Board of Trustees, and is brought forward for accrediting purposes only. Any questions regarding Wallace Dothan's request for review and approval of its mission statement? The next item is Jefferson State Community College's request for the board to approve the Alabama Community College system for the benefit of Jefferson State, entering into a lease agreement with Hines and Campbell Properties for a cell tower site located on the college's Birmingham campus. The college has been in a lease arrangement with Hines and Campbell since 1996. And the current proposed lease is a replacement of the current lease. It has an initial 10-year term with 4 options for 5-year renewals. In return for the proposed release, the college will receive communications equipment to be used by its police and maintenance departments valued at $175,000. A list of that equipment can be found in Exhibit F of the lease. In addition, the college will receive, starting in year 6 of the lease, monthly rentals in the amount of $1,200. That monthly rental amount will increase thereafter at 2% annually. Does anyone have any questions relating to the proposed lease with Hines and Campbell Properties?
Mr. O'Brien.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda was the academic and student affairs. And the first item is J.F. Drake State Community College, their certificate in patient care technician. And I'd like to call on Dr. Klein to give us an overview of this item.
Good morning, Chancellor, members of the board. It's my pleasure this morning to review the application for Drake Strait Community College, Technical College for the patient care technician. Drake State has done an outstanding job of identifying a lot of things that they have going on within their workforce region. One of the things that they look for is that this is a high demand, high growth opportunity for the patient care technicians. On the application, you will notice that there is an increase in the tuition total going from year 2 to year 3, due to the population of the students and growing from that standpoint. A lot of times when you think of patient care technicians, you look at those that work in long-term care facilities, they work on the LPNs, and they also work under direct direction of the RN. And what they do is they do a lot of things that they need from that standpoint, from drawing blood, doing lab work and things of that nature. The one thing that they have done, the team, is that they have gained great letters of support from Central North Alabama Health Services, Huntsville Hospital, Huntsville Rehab. And what they're going to do is that they have that need, they have identified that need as they go forth in moving forward with this program. So I think it'll be great opportunity to serve that region in healthcare. And I will address any questions at this time.
Thanks, Dr. Klein. I know there's really a need, and it's great to see the letters of support and requests for this program from the various medical and health institutions. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Klein?
I just basically chime into your comments, Mr. Chairman, and appreciate the efforts to bring in these letters and the research. That's very valuable to us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, we have the Associate in Applied Science and Digital Arts for Enterprise State Community College. I'd like to call Ms. Natalie English to give us an overview of this program.
Good morning, Chancellor Baker and members of the board. How are you this morning?
Good, thank you.
Good. The first program, and I will go through 4. Should I wait for you to announce?
No,
each?
this is fine. We'll just
Okay.
ask questions after each, please.
Yes. Okay, thank you. The first program, as was indicated, is a program being requested by Enterprise State Community College and Associate in Applied Science and Digital Arts. They have utilized the state's in-demand list to determine that the demand is there and that the local economy will support the program once it is offered to students. They will be able to matriculate through and then, of course, gain employment. They've also listed several occupational needs in that particular area. And you see them listed there, the graphic designers, music directors, et cetera. In addition to that, they've provided us with letters of support demonstrating that those employers, again, are willing to hire the students once they graduate. And the program is sustaining from a financial perspective. Does anyone have a question?
Proceed to the next item, which is
Okay.
the Associate in Applied Sciences, Science and Certificate in Building Construction Technology at Northeast Alabama Community College.
This program, again, is an Associate of Applied Science. Northeast Community College is asking for approval. It's indicated there that there are several branches of that program that relate to building construction. Those noted: masonry and concrete, heating and cooling, plumbing, et cetera. Again, business and industry in that area have demonstrated a level of support to those individuals that graduate the program. The program will be self-sustaining from a fiscal perspective. And it is considered in demand and high wage for that area. Any questions?
Certainly think it's appropriate in that part of the state. We're seeing a significant need for
Yes,
this effort and a lot of poaching among the various companies. So
yes,
they need people.
yes.
Absolutely. All
I
right.
would definitely agree with that too.
All right, thank you. Next item is the Associate in Applied Science and a Certificate in Airframe Mechanics and Aircraft Maintenance Technology with options in airframe and power plant. This is at Southern Union State Community College.
Okay. This program is unique in that the students graduating can stop at both the certificate and associate of science level, go ahead and gain employment if that's their choice, or Southern Union has created an arrangement with Auburn University so that the program includes courses that the student can articulate and then go forward toward a bachelor's degree in aviation management. So here we have the employment opportunities for that certificate or associate degree graduate, opportunities for that student that wants to go ahead and pursue a bachelor's degree, again, with articulated credit within the program, self-sustaining and community supporting. Any questions?
A much needed program. You look at our aviation history in the state. It's important to help us meet our workforce development needs. The next item is for the certificate in heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and refrigeration at Wallace State Community College, Selma.
Again, we have a program where the demand is there for that community with the need to become more energy efficient, in addition to just the regular routine maintenance that is needed in this area. HVAC is a program that is supported by the community, a program from which the graduates will be able to gain employment that will provide them a wage that is sustainable. The program itself is self-supporting from a fiscal perspective, and it does have community support. Does anyone have a question?
Thank you, Ms. English, for the very thorough review. Thank you.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the library elevator project for Marion Military Institute. I believe Mr. Ed Watley will provide us with an overview.
Good morning, Mr. Davis, Chancellor Baker, members of the board. We have one facilities action item to present this month. That is from Marion Military Institute requesting the addition or the upgrading of an elevator at Bear Memorial Library. If you look at the presentation that is attached to the action item, we highlight, of course, location of Marion and also the building location there on the campus. The scope of this project involves the addition of a 4-stop elevator to the existing Bear Memorial Library. I'll try to advance the presentation. This came up. Still trying to advance. Okay, this is the location of Bear Memorial Library. It is not there facing the quad. It is one street back from the quad. Again, the scope is simply, there is an elevator that currently serves that building. We're upgrading that elevator. The architect of this project is Davis Architects out of Birmingham. Courtney Pittman is actually the lead designer for this job. The anticipated schedule, this project is slated to bid tomorrow. That should allow us to get construction started by the end of the second quarter. We anticipate approximately a 6-month construction schedule, achieving substantial completion around the fourth quarter and being finally complete before the end of the year. Could we go back one slide, please? While we're working on that, we can work from the slide that is in your materials. The anticipated construction cost for this project is $470,000. And if the project bids at that level, it would not require a board approval. However, we have had other jobs recently that have come in over budget. And so if the need arises to bring this to the board, if it does come in over $500,000, we want the board to be briefed prior to that. The job will bid tomorrow, and so we would bring it to the next board meeting for approval if that is needed. Happy to report that Marion Military has received a commitment from the Marion Foundation to fully fund this project. Assuming a construction price of $470,000, we're looking at a total project cost of approximately $558,000. I'll be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Watley. Next item on the agenda deals with workforce development, and Mr. Barry May, I believe you're going to address the first item, industry certification funds.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Good morning, Chancellor Baker and members of the board. We have two items that we would like to present to you for your consideration this morning. The first item that we'd like to present is the allocation of fiscal year 2021 industry certification initiative funds for the ARC Strong program. The ARC Strong program, next slide. Strong actually stands for skills training that provides real opportunities for new growth, new job growth. Next slide. And we have 4 colleges that are sub-recipients of this program. It is a $3.5 million grant that is an ARC Power grant. The grant requires an ACCS match of 50%. And so this was a 3-year grant, but we've been awarded a 1-year extension to extend to July of 2022. The purpose of the grant is to increase awareness about current and future jobs in advanced manufacturing and provide students and workers with life skills, remedial education, and then technical skills and certificate training that will prepare them for post-secondary education and jobs in advanced manufacturing. Next slide. Those are counties that the grant covers. As you can see, it's a county surrounding Tuscaloosa to Birmingham. Next slide. And in the programs that our colleges deliver are ready to work training, manufacturing certification training for production and logistics. ATN is also a partner with our grant, and they've been providing technical skill training and leadership training to companies and incumbent workers in those counties. And the grant also provides wraparound social services and completer stipends, as well as has provided funds to support a pilot internship in partnership with Shelton State and the University of Alabama. Next slide. I'd like to give you kind of an update on where we stand with the grant. To date, we have served 3,312 participants with over 1,800 of those improved, meaning they've obtained jobs. We have verified that they've obtained jobs. And of course, with grants, we're continually reaching out to those that we've served to understand the impact of what the training that we've provided to them. And so we expect those numbers to continually increase as we get in contact with those that we've served and understand where they've gone to work and so forth, and how the training has benefited them. To date, we've served over 2,051 students with ready to work training and over 860 workers that trained with MSSE certifications. ATN has served 425 with technical training, and then 629 program participants have received either stipends or wraparound services. To date, we've served 204 businesses. Of those 204, 49 of those being manufacturers, and then 155 other. The ready to work has been a tremendous jobs as we transition people from lower skilled jobs into advanced manufacturing jobs. We have to backfill those jobs that those people left, and so ready to work has really provided a solution to those particular jobs that we're backfilling as well. Next slide. So one of our recent successes just this past month is the completion of a pilot internship program that was in partnership with Shelton State Community College and the University of Alabama. This particular pilot included pairing 2 community college students at Shelton State with 2 engineering students at the University of Alabama. we had two sponsoring companies that provided projects for each of these teams. The International Automotive Components, IAC, as well as SMP for our sponsor companies. The SMP had a robotic project that they gave the students, and the students presented out to the company recently. Those are the pictures of them presenting out their projects, and they showed where it's basically their project resulted in savings of over $200,000 in efficiencies and labor cost. At the IAC project, the students worked on several tooling projects that resulted in over $100,000 of savings to the company. And what I thought was just was really meaningful and worthwhile was the students told about their experience and about what a valuable that putting the engineering student with the CTE student, because they were able to complement each other with the skills that they brought to the table. The engineering students gave testimonials about how they could design a solution, but the CTE student brought in a practical approach that they would have never worked by himself, for a solution. And that's what we learned in manufacturing. Students learn that they require a very cross-functional team with cross-functional skills to be able to provide practical solutions to situations. And this gave them some very practical experience in this internship program. I was extremely proud of how well they presented themselves in these presentations. And I know the companies that sponsored them were very proud as well. So at this time, I'd like to take any questions about this particular action item.
I like the acronym STRONG, and it's a great program, and love the idea of the partnerships, and hopefully we can do more of that. As you know, our core mission, part of our core mission is workforce development. And this is a great program.
The ARC, is that Appalachian Regional Commission, or is that?
Yes, sir.
And the map that you showed us for the schools in the areas that benefit, is that grant restricted to certain parts of the state, or?
Yes, sir. It is restricted to those particular counties that were in the slide there.
And are we receiving that directly, or does that come to us through ADECA?
We are receiving that
directly from.
Well, it is actually ADECA is our ARC representative.
Local. Okay,
Yes.
Very good.
Any other questions for Mr. May? I guess the next item is the Trenum State Worker Program.
Yes. So the next action item is the Trenum State Line Worker Program. We would like your consideration for FY 2021 Industry Certification Initiatives funds to support the Trenum State Line Worker Program. And I'm going to ask Mr. Gary Weaver to come and talk a little bit about this program. He's played an integral role in supporting Trenum in the development of this program, as well as the partnerships to support this program. So I'll turn it over to Gary.
Thank you, Barry. Mr. Chairman, Board of Trustees, Chancellor Baker, I want you to think about real quick the opportunity for a crisp fall evening. You've got your windows up. You don't have to have an air conditioner. We roll into winter. You want your heat on. We roll back out into spring. We can roll the windows back up, but we go into the summer. We want our air conditioners on. We're known in the South, we can have a tornado or two that'll come through and it'll devastate a lot of things. Well, the one avenue that we have in common with this line worker program that Trenum is looking to embark on and have your blessing is the opportunity to produce quality line workers. Now, what's unique about this is that there's 5 different groups in this community that has come together to make this work. And you say, well, what's so unique about that? Well, you have the TVA in North Alabama. Alabama Power sort of runs in there below them. And then you have your rural co-ops. And we can just keep going. Alabama Power mixes in again, and your rural electric co-ops again. But within this, we're needing to serve multiple communities with multiple power requirements. Within that, you have the AREA, the Alabama Rural Electric Association with Mr. Matty Garr. You have Alabama Power with Mr. Tom McNeil. The ECA, Electric Cities of Alabama with Mr. John Hand. AMEA, Alabama Municipal Electric Authority with Mrs. Lisa Miller. And then you have Central Alabama Electric Cooperative that came to the table as well, Mr. Michael Kelly, the CAEC. Now you ask why this is important. It's because all of them buy for one primary commodity or end result. That's qualified workers called line workers. They all need the same thing. You need to know that within this potential program for Trenton, they sit in a very unique and diverse area. And if you take Montgomery County with 9 other surrounding counties, current MZ data, economic modeling software, as of this morning, has Montgomery and these 9 surrounding counties listed as a hotspot. What does that mean? There's 434 jobs available in this area. The national average for an area of this size is only 168. There's 76 possible retirements, and the average of this area of size is only 71 when you look at the national average. That's typically 55 years of age and older. A typical line worker is going to work somewhere between 16 and 20 years, and they're going to come off a pole or a line worker transmission side, and they're going into the educational and training side, or it could be even the customer service base internally. Now, the reason these people have come together and we're beckoning the blessing for Trenton to be able to present this program is that it encompasses both Alabama Power and the rural electric side. Why? Because Alabama Power doesn't serve a lot of the rural locations within this vicinity. If you look at it, this would be a 9-week non-credit program. It's called a pre-apprenticeship program because all line workers then embark on an apprenticeship opportunity with a said or respected employer. Classes typically meet Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Line worker skills and competencies will be taught and evaluated, and this is driven by the industry. This is not a plug and play where you walk in and say, well, we've got this course or these courses, this will meet your needs. It's all industry driven and built on their needs. Some of the things that encompasses: basic electricity, current circuits, AC/DC fundamentals, basic tools and equipment, line worker communication. You know, it's one thing for us to think we understand certain aspects, but when you say it on the street, it's totally different. Ropes, knots, splices, and the gear, math and more math, hotline tools, transformers, insulators, maintenance of transmission lines above ground and below ground, derrick, digger, pole setting. They even learn how to set poles. Some of the minimum requirements that we need to understand: an individual can't weigh over 280 pounds. You go, well, you're discriminating. That's OSHA's requirement. Why? An individual over 280 pounds stands to injure themselves, or if they're in a bucket truck, they can turn the bucket truck over. So OSHA guidelines prohibit a person weighing over 280 pounds. An individual must be 18 years of age at time of application. They must pass a drug screen. They must have the ability to work 40 feet off the ground or higher, in some cases up to 200 feet. That doesn't mean they're always in the air. Sometimes it's on the ground. So one of the first things that'll happen in a program like this is you take the individuals out, and to screen them in or out, they'll do that themselves, is you climb a pole 40 feet up, you tether off, and you lay back and you clap 5 times. But then you have to get used to knowing that it may be my colleague on that pole and something happens. Pray tell he doesn't have a heart attack or he gets electrocuted, because then you have to do a pole top rescue. So they're taught all the fundamentals before they ever embark into the apprenticeship program itself and get into the depths and the meat of it. I mentioned the 9-week program. They'll also go through PPE, the personal protective equipment. They'll earn an OSHA 10 general industry card for safety. They'll also have the ability to obtain a Class A CDL between 1 and 1.5 weeks. And the reason for a Class A CDL is, for those of you raised on a farm, if you ever had a farm tractor and you had a pintle hook on the back, you've got to have that Class A CDL in the line worker program, because they pull a trailer that has a pintle hook on it that they haul their poles on, not necessarily an 18-wheeler. So that is an offer that comes as part of the program as a requirement. Not mandatory, but it is in there. Some people elect not to go through it. And then they'll go through CPR, or cardiopulmonary resuscitation. So with that, the cohorts will be driven by industry. They're not driven by the college. They're not driven by the staff. They're driven by industry. Within that, there will be a minimum of 2 cohorts per year, up to 4, again, based on the industry demand. To give you an idea, Alabama Power just had a recent cohort at Bishop State Community College in Mobile that completed. They had 15 applicants that was entered. They had 15 successful applicants completed. All 15 received 3 or more job offers each. All 15 are currently employed. We have other lineman programs in this state. We have Calhoun Community College in Tanner and Decatur. We have Bishop State in Mobile. We have Lawson State in Bessemer, Jeff State in Birmingham. And you go, well, that's pretty saturated. That's at the demand of industry. What we will not do is saturate the market. It will be data-driven, but that's in partnership with industry, making all of the decisions. So we would ask that you look at this very favorably for the opportunity to not only work with these industries, these partners in the central part of the state, but to show the rest of the state how our colleges can come together and work with a multitude of different businesses that seek the same thing at the end. That's quality individuals. And not only in the program, but we look at the basic fundamentals. They're going to look at attitude, punctuality, personality, enthusiasm, and motivation. This is a high demand, high wage opportunity. And I'm going to leave you with this figure. The national median salary for a line worker, $74,857, compared to Montgomery County and 9 surrounding counties, $86,542. They'll crawl before they walk, but they'll retire happy. What questions may I entertain?
Is that ACCS certification part of the 9-week program?
Yes, sir.
It is.
It is included. It is an all-encompassing 9-week program. Mr. Chairman, it could be as short as 8 weeks. Industry will determine the final pitch of 8 to 9 weeks. Some weeks don't require a full 5 days per week. But again, that's industry driven. Some of the partnerships that can occur out of this as well from any of the 5 different power providers could be, they could include but not limited to scholarship dollars, equipment, poles, trucks, transformers, as well as instructors. So we have an opportunity to truly grow this and transform what will take place in the central part of Alabama to augment and offset what's going on in north, sort of central north and the south.
It's great to see the partnerships with Alabama Power and other utilities. It's great.
Yes, sir.
Question.
Jerry, I like the private-public partnership here and the people that are involved. Those are also the same skills that your broadband workers that do aerial plant, which much of Alabama's aerial broadband and telecommunications. So that some of those people will be picked off by some of your telcos and telecom providers. So.
Uniquely, one other statistic that's unique, there have been scholarship dollars in the past that have been put forth in some other programs. Uniquely, and I will leave the company name out, but they have put forth dollars. The anticipation is not that they hire that individual, it's to educate and train that individual. The majority of those individuals did not go to work with that company. They went somewhere else. Not only that, Mr. Rogers, we have the opportunity to take it even farther from a line worker because now drones come into play. You start looking, you can service lines from that. So the sky's the limit. Are we going to look forward? Or are we going to look backward and live on our laurels and say, well, that's the way we've always done it? So if we don't stay out front with business and industry, listen, and do this, we can all go home.
Good report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Weaver. Always love your passion. All right, next on the agenda is fiscal. Ms. Calhoun, we'll talk about the allocation of funds for the 2-year college system and prison education operations and maintenance appropriation.
Good morning. Gary's a tough one to follow. I'm not going to be nearly as enthusiastic, although I'm sure the colleges are going to appreciate this. Before you is the 2021, 2022 fiscal allocation from the Education Trust Fund budget. Boone mentioned earlier that the legislature was very good to us this year, and this appropriation does include more than a 7% increase for operation and maintenance funds for our colleges. We left the standard historical calculation, included the increase, and then also reduced the standard $6 million as a chancellor holdback for special appropriations throughout the year for our colleges. In addition is the consideration for the prison operation and maintenance appropriation. This was another line item that increased for us $2 million this year. That is in part to special projects for day reporting centers and an additional Ingram Run program. So the second slide, or the second piece of your action item, shows the breakdown for the O&M that includes comprehensive performance-based outcome with a 2% stop loss for our colleges, so they will not experience more than a 2% loss in performance-based calculations. And it also includes the itemized earmarks as designated by the legislatures by the colleges or per college. I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Ms. Callan.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Do you have any comments or questions? Okay. All right. Well, again, looking forward to our working together with our new trustees, Mr. Shell, Ms. Gray, Mr. Rogers, and Mr. Roan. And I think we don't have any other comments or questions. Our meeting's adjourned.
Yeah, we leave them typically. They
It's smooth.
they don't mind us taking them.
Good.
Same stuff. in the email,
You've
too.
got it all electronically. Yeah, that's right.
It was more free.
Okay.
This is, I guess it was.